I remember that day, it was my turning point, Hassan, in my life.
This episode touches on mental health. Please take care while watching or listening.
And I started to see depression from different perspective or different views. And then I found depression, it's not something bad in my life if I see it in a different perspective or bright side. When I see depression, there's some messages behind depression that they are trying to send me to fix my life. This is some unmet need should be covered as human being. Imagine if every situation that went through a new life and start to create this kind of mindset, that mindset of seeing the bright side from things, your life will be completely different, Hassan. And that is my vision, man.
Welcome to Present Potential. I'm your host, Hassan, and the reason I launched this podcast is to create a ripple effect of optimism that reaches 1 billion people in the next decade. Ambitious? Very. Scary? A little bit. The aim of Present Potential is to empower listeners by sharing stories of individuals who've turned challenges into opportunities, proving that we all have untapped potential. If you're new to this podcast, welcome. If you've tuned in before, thank you for your support, and I hope you find value in these conversations. Hello and welcome to another episode of Present Potential. I'm your host, Hassan, and I'm so grateful and thankful for everyone who's tuning in weekly to listen to interesting discussions, whether it's about leadership, high performance, authenticity, communication, or anything that we've actually touched on. Today, I'm going to be speaking with a guest. This guest is someone who I've come across in my career as a coach. So we've actually graduated from the same coaching school, and we've engaged on several occasions offline and even once maybe online. I'm not even sure because it's been a couple of years since then. And I've always admired the things that he does and creates and shares his wisdom throughout his social media presence and also when we engage. And it was an honor that he wanted to come onto the podcast and share an authentic discussion with anything that comes into mind. As always, all these discussions are authentic. So we don't have any scripts. We don't have any pre-planned questions. We have no idea where it's going to go. So without further ado, welcome to Present Potential.
Hello, Hassan. Hello, everyone. I want to thank you for this amazing introduction from me. Humbly, that I want to thank you for accepting my invitation because I'm the one who reached you, to be honest. Because when I saw your podcast was my supervisor Yumna in school. I love the conversation and I love the way that you asking the questions, and because it's part of my own gift as a coach, you know. So yes, so and also we talked before about deep conversation about fathers, without father, if you remember of your own group before. And I told myself, why not that I can reach Hassan and we have a deep conversation one-to-one, because especially podcasting, that you have a deep conversation with a coach like you. Open-minded, that we can talk about many topics. We can share our own messages, our own wisdom to help and serve others. Yeah. I want to thank you for this.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for reaching out and for your kind words. And as you're a coach as well, I'm sure that you also have interesting questions. So maybe we can kick it off by just asking you to introduce yourself. How would you describe yourself?
It's a very hard question, to be honest. This kind of question cannot be answered in one sentence or whatever. But it's usually when you ask this kind of question in HR when I have interview, especially when I have a new interview, especially in UAE, and for example, like last job here in the bank, the first question from HR telling you that introduce yourself. So I'm like, oh my god, I have many things to say about this. It's very very big answer. Simply, I'm a human being and I'm passionate about being a life coach, especially these days. My niche is life challenging coach, and my passion is about the inner human being world. I believe there's outer world and inner world. I believe in the inner world in human beings, especially in psychology, emotions, spirituality, your own mentality. So psychology is a big umbrella for me, that is my big link to my inner world as a human being. So we can say I'm a life coach, passionate about who we are from inside, mostly, bigger than the outside, because from inside the outside that you find who you are as human being. Yeah, it's a big journey with myself to find who I am, and still looking for the truth. It's a connection between who I am as a human being, as a soul, and between me and the Creator. I believe in God. I believe in Allah, and I believe there's a big mission and a big journey that I'm going through now in my life. And life coaching is it's on a title to be honest, but that title I'm so proud about about it because it really helped me a lot to be to who I am right now and help many people through social media and also through one-to-one coaching or group coaching and to find and you are one of them to be with you in that podcast because of this, to be honest.
Wow. Yeah, I know. Like this question generally can't be answered in simple ways. And there's a lot that we can unpack there. So, as you mentioned, like there's the inner world and the outer world and the being and the human and the discovery and the journey that you're going through. How about maybe looking at the time that you decided to go into coaching? What was the thing that motivated you to become a coach?
Yes, man, it's I love your question, to be honest. It's so deep. When you ask this question, what motivated me, it will recall a very old memory from 10 years back when I was going through a very dark times with myself, especially with depression and suicidal thoughts when I was back in Egypt. I remember that day, it was my turning point, Hassan, in my life. It was 25/11, 2020, two, two, 2003, when I finally decided that I had to end my life for the first time. And I searched about the location and timing and everything. Yes, let's do this. And before doing this in action, to be honest, this was an inner voice inside me telling me this, while are you sure that you want to end your life? And then I was a little bit hesitant here. So what is that voice coming from? And then, yes, I'm not sure about this, but what do you mean by ending my life? So, and then the question started with itself so deeply. Do you want to end which life? That life that you don't like, that life which doesn't have any purpose, no meaning, and anything, or the soul that God give it to you, the human soul. And then when this kind of question came to me, I started to think with myself, what is that voice coming from? And then from that day, I decided not to end my life, and I started to sit with that question inside me to find the answer. Hassan has been about 2 weeks in my room in order to find the answer. And that was my turning point when I found out that I have a very critical situation mentally with depression, with the and then I started from that day. I started my journey with depression for 10 years to studying what is going on inside my inner world. To be honest, I never visited any psychologist, any therapy, any coaching this time. I didn't have any money. I didn't have the coach to talk with my family and tell them that I want to end my life and have a depression. I came from that kind of culture who cannot believe in that. But I was working with my own so deeply to understand who I am, understand what I'm going through, and what is that depression why that depression came to me, and what kind of messages that tried to send to me. And then when I reached 2021, that was my second time to have the deep depression with suicidal thoughts for the second time for my life. It was like another turning point in my life after more than 7 or 8 years. And then I was passionate about what is going on inside me. And then when I saw Al-Shohaty and his own content, and there's some school, they call it life coaching or whatever, why not I start to know what is going on inside me by becoming a life coach? And that was the motivation inside me. The thing was giving me the fuel and motivate me in order to continue and become a life coach, which is knowing who I am and what is going inside me. I don't care about the outside, to be honest. I want to know what is going inside me. What is this kind of thought it coming from, and why it come to me? And then especially when I start a coach, I start to understand the human psyche and what is going on inside me as human being for more than 3 years now. And I start to see depression from different perspective or different views. And then I found depression, it's not something bad in my life if I see it in a different perspective or bright side. When I see depression, there's some messages behind depression that they are trying to send me to fix my life. This is some unmet need should be covered as human being. And that was the motive. I was curious about what is going on inside me, especially with depression. And when I found out the reasons and found out some coaching tools that helped me as a human being to fix this inside me or heal myself after God's words, I want to use this with other people around me. So my coaching one-to-one or group coaching, because part from healing that you have to help and save people around you, not only helping your own self. And that was the thing. So that was the journey and how it started from the beginning. So yes,
A lot there. And I want to start by just acknowledging your courage and vulnerability in sharing with us. So thank you for being that voice. And I'm so happy to have you here. Like this is one of the biggest blessings for me just to be here in your presence. So I'm very happy that that is how it is. And it sounds like there's been a lot of internal discussions and conversations when you were sharing about like which life it is. It reminded me of something that I read on when I was reading Eckhart Tolle's books, because he says something really similar. He says, I don't like myself, or I hate myself, or I want to change myself. And he said, who is I and who is myself? And who is I and who is me? Like, who am I speaking with? And if that was the case, then there's different people that are within me. And when you were sharing, that's really what resonated with me. And what was the process then when you started realizing that there's an outer world and an internal world, and you said that you're so interested and focused on understanding what's happening within. What was that like?
it started by writing, to be honest.
Mm.
After I found out this turning point in my life more than 10 years back, I was sitting in my room, as I mentioned before, and I was start writing the thing that I really don't like in my life. I started to have two columns. It's a big paper,
Yeah.
and wrote down the negative habits and positive habits. And I start to exchange the negative habit inside me by positive habit outside. For example, I was smoking. I stopped smoking and replaced smoking by running. I cannot run with smoking that way. So how? It's opposite is that right? And I was alcoholic. I was drinking alcohol. I stopped alcohol and replaced it by praying. I stopped taking drugs because I was smoking hash. I stopped taking drugs and replaced it by reading. I found a new habit, which is reading. That process started from 2013. You can say 2014 when I start to find out how can change these habits. It started by smaller steps, Hassan, from inside to outside. But all started from inside. I figured out what I'm going through. But I started to understand who I am by this kind of question and why I have division in my life. For what I understand about division is like a messenger. It comes to me in life from time to time in order to send a message to you. There's something wrong happening in your life now. Whatever it is, lack of sleeping, whatever it is, lack of communication, lack of love, connection with others, whatever that need that you're going through in your life right now is not met, which causing depression and that stress and anxiety and worries. I'm not talking about the chronic depression. No, I'm talking about depression which is causing because of life stress and worry and anxiety, burnout, all this kind of stuff. As coaches, I'm not a psychologist. I'm talking about life in general. And when I found out my own unmet needs and why depression here in my life, I to myself, come on, man. So depression is not something bad in your life. So depression now is serving you. So how can you be smart enough to transform depression from mental enemy to mental friend? And I start to have this conversation between the patient as a human being. You know, as human psyche, we love to personalize things. You have daughters, right? When you have a game or something like a dolly or something, so she start to name it, right? And she start to talk with it face to face. She's not crazy, but she loves to personalize things. Even your car, that you can name a car by name or something like this. If you love your car, the same thing. So that is the vision inside me. I start to talk with the vision as a part of self inside me because it's a part of self. Is that right? Some feelings, some needs not covered. I start to call depression as Mr. Depression inside me. When depression came to me, I sat with myself and had that inner coach inside me. Sat to talk with depression. Hello, my friend, how are you? I said, yes, how are you? And said to talk with me. Depression, may I know why that you are now in my life? And I called it as Mr. Depression. And I started to talk with me why I'm here in your life because you have whatever the need not met in your life right now and you start to cover. And then after ending this conversation, I feel relief because part of healing that you start to express your own emotions and your own feeling, and start to talk with it with yourself or others, like coaches, like therapy and psychologists. You're not suppress your own feeling and emotion side. You is that right? And that is my first step was myself the inner talk with depression to understand why it in my life. And by using this from time to time, I started to use this tool with other things like worry, like anxieties, like rejections. And then I found out, Hassan, it's a very weird things. Allah or God never this life have a two sides, and you are the one who can choose to see it in a way to serve you or not serving you, whatever it is. But you are the one who can choose how can you see the bright side from it. If two person going through depression for some reason, on the same reason, you are the one who can choose to use depression and to in a way to serve you in your life and move forward and become mentally, emotionally stronger. Another person no, again, sit and a negative side and become a victim mindset and just surrender to depression. No, I want to kill myself, whatever. It depends on you. Everything have a good side, but you are the one who have to choose. And I choose to have this kind of mindset, Hassan, to see the bright side and the good things for any life challenges that I go through in my life, whatever it is, physically, mentally, emotionally. I want to learn myself to create this mindset to have the bright side from things, to use it in my own good in my life. And that is, to be honest, that is my mission in my life. My mission in my life, I want to help others from coaching to see the bright thing from their own life challenges, whatever it is, inside or outside. And you know, the alchemy, when you transform things from inside, like being and use your own being from your own good and use it and grow in your life, not become a victim, become a creator. That is my own mission, to be honest. So that was a journey from inside to outside. And when I start that thing from inside to outside, I start that impact in myself. I mean, in the inner world, was my communication, coaching with clients, even in my workplace as a banker right now, communication with my managers, my leaders, my workmates, my coaches like you in broadcasting. So that was very helpful for me to create my inner world that I like, but it comes from inside to outside.
I really loved how like you've connected alchemy to it and transforming from inside to outside. And also, like, I'm not a psychologist or a therapist, but I'm just noticing things that you've mentioned. For example, like you've separated your identity from who you are and depression. So it's not one and the same, but you actually gave it a persona, Mr. Depression. And I loved what you said in terms of you didn't push it away or fight it off or try let go, but you'd rather accepted it to understand why are you here? Like, what is that message that you're trying to give me? And I can completely resonate with that emotion because even when we feel pain in our bodies, it's a signal, it's a message that is giving us an indication that maybe there's something that we can look after, can take forward and fix it. If we have a toothache or a headache or an ear infection or anything, that is just a signal that's telling us there might be something there. And I loved as well like how you've connected it with your general work and life and everything that you do in terms of that discussion and replacing the bad habits with the good habits. And I'm assuming this, I could be completely wrong, but like when did people start noticing these changes? Because you've spent a lot of time looking inwards and changing this, but when did you notice others saying, "Oh wow, I've noticed that you've done this or you've done that"?
You made me recall your the past memories was my mother. I remember these days when my mother knocked my door. In these 2 weeks of transformation inside, it was so hard for me to stop all these kind of things, drugs, smoking, alcohol. It was boiling me from inside and was, well, are you okay? Yes, I was saying inside me, I'm just trying to wake up. It was like a coma, man. Mental, emotional coma. It was so dark place. And I really, really feel everybody who going through depression now because of these things. Hassan, it's very, very dark place, man. You are alone there. You are alone. You are. I came to a time when I was sitting with myself and with people outside and was saying to me, well, you're not with us. Yeah, man, I'm not with you. In the outer world, you open your eyes. In the outer, like now, I'm consciously seeing Hassan now. My eyes see you. I can see my hand is moving, body language. But with depression, no. Consciously, you are inside and subconsciously, you are moving. You're sitting, you're getting your inner world inside with that dark cave inside. You're sitting alone. It's so hard. It's so hard, man. Whatever that I'm gonna give you a metaphoric way, it is not like this feeling. So when my inner start to change, that will, because that changes start from inside to outside. It affect me physically also. I start to sleep well. I start to eat well. I start to talk with people. I start to feel happy. I start my emotion, my chemical things start to change. Is that right? Like that means so I don't know this kind of stuff. And I start to play sport. I start to read. My family was saying, "Oh, you want to take money from it?" I didn't have money. I'm not working. I was taking money from my father to buy a book, man. I remember these days. I took money from my father because I want to buy a new book. At the beginning, I was surprised. What are you reading, man? You're reading English books? You are not either. I don't know how I can speak English even. Okay, but I want to teach myself. I want to learn English, and I was buying new books and novels to read. I was taking money from my family to buy shoes for running and buy a T-shirt for running because I'm not working. But I'm changing, man. This kind of stuff when my family, especially my friends, see me doing, he's reading now, he start praying, he starts wake up at Fajr and pray Fajr and then go running by the sea. What's going on now? And then my way of talking become different. I start more calmer and I start to think about my own future. What is the next plan? I want to leave Egypt. I want to come to UAE. I want to travel to Canada. I want to have my own life now. And I start to change. So when you change, you change from inside to outside. And alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful to Allah who helped me to do this, to be honest, at the first place. Because I'm sure that inner voice that came to me, it is coming from Allah, coming from angel, coming from some spiritual voice coming inside me, because you know that I have to change. And until now, I believe in that. I don't want to make more deeper here because it will be a long journey with spirituality with Allah. But simply, the reason why I'm here, by transforming that suicidal boy to a life coach. Now, it's a big journey. So that's what there's a reason why behind this. And you are the one who choose to not staying in that dark place and find your own candle, find your own light, and become a life coach now. That was my inner talk with myself. And I told myself, no, yes, we have to change. So it started by changing by the community and the environment and the community around you. It started by your own family, your own friends. They started to notice this, especially my friends. Well, take a cigarette. No man, stop smoking. What? Man, you're eating cigarettes, man. I love cigarettes so much, man. I love cigarettes. I love smoking. You know that feeling when you have your own cigarette, coffee, the nicotine was a caffeine sitting by the sea in Alexandria in a winter time. It's a so beautiful thing. For me, it was a therapy for me in these days. Well, take a cigarette. No, how is this? That is crazy, man. How did you quit? And then was my friends, family first, then friends. And then I left Egypt in 2016 and then I came here in UAE for about 10 years now. I started to have my own lifestyle. Yeah, I started because when you start to change from inside to outside, you're gonna create that environment inside you. You're gonna also connect with people around you. You cannot stay in the same place for a long time because you have more than one choice, Hassan. Allah said in Quran, but I'm not saying the verses, but He told us in Islam that if you are not capable of living in this environment and change it by yourself, no need. You can change yourself and emigrate. You can go to another place and find, as you said in Egypt, you can travel. You can live in another community with another people. I start to filter many things in my life, to be honest. But the one I keep my old life, which is my family, my old friends, which is the best friend, to be honest. But I filter many things, and then I start to create my own lifestyle.
And I know what you mean, like giving bad habits up to doing different things. And I used to eat sugar and then I stopped sugar. And even now people ask me, why don't you have cake? And I said, but I don't eat cake. And they tell me, just have one. And I said, but that's what someone told me yesterday. So it's just going to be a habit that is forever. And it's the same with smoking and also with drinking. So it's been like a gradual change. And it's so impressive to see like how one shift can create that ripple effect that transforms every other part of your life. And so parents and family started noticing it, and then your friends, and then you decided to go to a different place to create things that you want. And what keeps you driven now? Like, what is something that motivates you, that you keep building and wanting more. How do you keep yourself fueled for the next things?
Being curious, Hassan, be honest. What helped me even in everything, being curious about who I am from inside to outside, being curious about knowing Allah, the Creator, being curious about knowing who I am as a human being, why I'm here, what is the journey about, and especially my journey from inside. Being curious about other human beings like you. When I do one-to-one coaching, I'm so curious about what is going inside Hassan. Thoughts, his thoughts, his emotions, his feeling, his need. Why are you feeling that way? Why? The same thing as you're asking right now, you are curious. I can see you are curious from your own eyes. That's why I love this conversation. You're curious about who I am now. Like, I love this. It really fuel you, man. You fuel your own battery. Being curious about life, about this journey. Because I believe it's a journey, man. We came in this life as a journey, at the beginning, at the end. But this end, it will begin to end this life. I believe in this. So I believe that at the end, whatever that you can end your life, whatever you own believe, but my belief is heaven and hell. Whatever whatever will be the treasure there or the end of life, I don't know, you will not know the value of heaven or hell or whatever the end of life until you go through this journey of dunya or this life. Imagine that if I give you a big box of treasure, Haja, a million tons of gold or something like this. I give it to you suddenly without any effort. You feel happy at the beginning and you will start to spend your own time and travel here and here and here and here. But it will come to a time of feel bored, man. Because you didn't have any effort to get this one tint of gold at all. What about the journey? I was telling you, Hassan, I've given this box of gold, but it's blocked by lock or something like this. And I'll give you that. I think give it the key. But I told you if you want to get the key, you have to make the journey from this island to this island. It's not to learn how to swim, so then how to build a boat, and then go through these life challenges, up and downs, storms, summer, winter, whatever. It's not to educate yourself, then yourself that journey of life. And then at the end, you found the so the journey you completing this puzzle of creating the the key or something like this, and then the end you find the golden oven and enjoy your life. That is life, the journey itself. I believe that there's two kind of treasures, which is the treasure which of life, the journey, the experience, the skills, the up and downs, life challenges. That is the main treasure, and the treasure which is in the end when you live your own life, whatever it is. I'm not talking about in religious ways only. I'm talking about in general in life when reaching your own goal. For example, if you want to be a famous broadcaster, for example, have a very famous broadcast and like Jay or something. It's a journey. It's a smaller steps, man. One day after 10 years, remember this episode was Wael in that date when you start to have only online broadcasting thing and then start to have your own studio, have your own cameras. It's a beautiful journey, man. It's small steps which lead you to bigger one, to bigger victories. You have ambitions in order to improve in your life. That is the thing which is really, really being curious about life, Hassan. I'm very curious about life to understand who I am and understand people around you, and not only people, even the creature around me. Sometimes I love nature, to be honest. I love to connect with nature. Sometimes I visualize myself as a bird or as a tree or something like this. I sort of visualize myself. Man, imagine yourself as a tree right now. I feel myself in the ground, in the the ground, something like this. I feel my leaves, I feel the wind, I feel the greens, I feel myself there, the connection. Because I believe that we all are connected somehow by some
I agree that.
a God. So I'm curious about this to understand who I am and looking for the truth, to be honest.
Yeah.
The definition of truth, I would think about it yesterday. It is not easy to find the answer in just one day or another, but it's a journey to understand the journey of life.
Absolutely. And I love that curiosity about everything and experiencing life as a journey itself. And it's so true about like the small steps. When you were sharing that, it reminded me of a saying, not sure who said it, but like overnight success takes 10 years to happen. So there's a lot that goes into what people might perceive as, oh, this is now one of the biggest podcasts, or like this person has achieved so much, or this person has actually managed to overcome certain types of thoughts and now is living a different life. So I really resonate with that. And I'm curious as well, because when you shared about reading and learning, and you said that you had to borrow money to buy books as well. If you remember, what was the first book that you bought? Because it sounds like you're borrowing to make an investment. It must have been a really important book, or at least I'm assuming it is.
Oh, no, thank you. I love your question, man. I was working as a cashier in a pharmacy in Egypt. I was a soldier in Egyptian army after the revolution. I spent about 6 months without job, and then one of my friends, I'm grateful for that friend. I want to thank you a lot to him. He helped me to find a job as a cashier in a pharmacy in Egypt. And then I don't like that was part of my journey before was depression, and I was trying to understand and learn English. To be honest, okay. I love language, so especially English. And then I saved some money, and then I decided to have a English course. I took it only for 3 months because I couldn't complete it because I don't have enough money to pay for it. And then my instructor, I want to thank you also for because she was helped me a lot to understand English also and study English. She advised me to read a lot, and she advised me to buy The Alchemist for Paulo Coelho. Okay, that was my first novel that I read in my life. I mean, not, I mean, outside the school. I bought it was maybe 25 pounds, Egyptian pounds, something like this. It was cheap, and at the beginning when I was reading the book at my workplace, at the first 15 pages, I feel bored, man. I don't like reading. What is this? What is Horse Santiago? What is that Jane? What is that treasure? I don't know what they're saying. After the 15 pages, I started to be curious about his journey, Santiago, and what is that kind of treasure that he want to find in Egypt? What is that? I started to continue reading. I was reading every day, every day, every day. The book was short. I mean, 150, 75 pages, something like this. When I completed, I said addicted to this book. I read about 5 times. I was studying because I don't have money to buy any books now. I was reading this book every day, you know, a lie. So I was reading the book every day and 5 times. They found out, come on, man, buy a new book now. But I don't have enough money to buy a book, to be honest. Ask my father, I need some money to buy a book. Well, money, buy a book, how is this? Yes, I want to buy a book. And then I gave him money and I went to the store. It was Aleph store I bought the second book. I started reading the third book, and then. To be honest, the one who supported me to buy this book is my father. To be honest, may Allah bless him. I was giving me the money to buy books because I don't have enough salary to buy books. To be honest, yes,
That's profound. And I'm hearing people now these days saying it's so important to reread the books that make sense because there's, I mean, probably in the millions of books, and there's only a limited time for us in this beautiful world. So we're not going to have the capacity or capability to read everything. So like rereading something that completely resonated with you, it's such a powerful tool. I reread some of the books that I have as well. I mean, I even put markers in them so I know what points or like aspects really stand out for me, and I can just go back to it and relive that moment to understand it even more. Or if I'm feeling different, I even have a book that I keep next to my bedside table that I always open it up to any page. It doesn't really matter, and just read anything that's there. And there's always insights because I approach it with what you showed earlier about like being just completely curious with no expectations, having like that pure know nothing state just to see what can come from that experience and the magic. And with everything that you've shared, and like it sounds you've done a lot of work and you've created the life that you're living now. And what's next for you? Like, what's your next big goal or achievement that you're striving to achieve? Which I know you will, by the way, because you've ticked all of those boxes that you had. But what's something that you're striving to?
I want to go out in the street. Sometimes I feel bored from social media. We're sharing our own content in social media. I have my own business content, TikTok and Facebook, Instagram. I have my own podcast. Alhamdulillah, that is for second season. It's a solo podcast. The nature inside you. But you know, Hassan, sometimes I feel like I want to talk with people more face to face.
Yeah.
I start to go out in the street. I started this goal, which was one of my biggest goals this year. Every goal, my every birthday, I stop. To be honest, I stop celebrating my birthday, but I'm celebrating the goals or the new year of my reaching my new goals in my life. So one of my goals this year, it was 5 goals. One of them, which is I want to go out in the street and talk with people. And I started doing this 2 months back. Every Sunday, that is my day off after finishing my one-to-one coaching with my client. I go out the street and talk with people in general and about life in general. I introduce myself in the street with people. My name is Wael. I'm a life coach, and can I take 2 minutes from your time? We're going to talk about life in general. Do you agree? Yes, I agree. I start to ask about any deep coaching, whatever it is. Simply, what is one thing that you get from your life now? Yes. And I start to have a conversation with life. I'm curious about a human being. That is the thing which is driving me. I'm curious about who you are now. And, when I talk with people on the street, I start to feel good, man. I remember these days when I talk with someone, I feel deep inside me, this connection inside me. I tend to have a hug with someone. When you hug someone physically, when you have this eye contact with someone face to face, it's a big difference between a camera or a visual thing. That is the physical bond between you and the human being. That's who you are. And what if I was asking myself, and I learned that from Viraj, from our school in GSH, he would challenge me one day because I want to do this. And I would challenge all of us. I was saying that what if one day you found out there's no any social media anymore in your life? No Instagram, nothing. So how can I share my own wisdom? How can I share my own? How can I continue with my own mission? I will not depend only on social media. That is not me. We are big on this. We have to go out in the street. You can speak on the street. You can speak in coffee shop. You can be a public speaker, and you can train whatever that you can make any project and outside and talk with people face to face. Speak with others. I'll tell myself I will not depend. I will not only use social media to share my own message. Maybe it's a part of it, but yes, I started this goal this year, and I'm start to grow or understand this goal a little bit because I want to improve. I want to talk with people more in the street and understand how can I improve in that goal. To be honest, but I start to feel good about it.
Mhm.
Especially if I talk only with one person a week in the street about life, and this person feel good about it and learn a lesson from my conversation or something like this. It's a good thing for me. That is the thing. To be honest, I'm working on. Yeah, I want to thank you for your coaching. It's so reflective. I want to thank you for this.
Yeah, like the even just meeting people, like it might sound really basic, but really to make that effort to go out and have the courage to ask strangers to share and to connect with them, it's so profound because you're dedicating time and energy to really understand and hear and connect with them on a different level rather than social media or through videos or cameras or anything like that. So it's such a small shift, but it's so important. And it's funny you say that because like I feel like that curious characteristic is within us. And even if I'm outside of a room where my daughter is learning English or ballet or something, and there's other parents, I ask them a lot of questions, and they ask me like, "Why are you interested?" I was like, "I'm just really curious." Like, so, tell me about like what you do and what you like and what you've learned and the challenges, and it could be like even a podcast, but it's just so exciting to hear these stories, and I can hear it as well in the things that you've shared. And with the people that you're meeting, I mean, and you said what I really liked that you have your birthday, but you're actually looking at goals that you create and you see those. So how's it going in terms of like this goal, and when do you finish it? If there's even like a time that you can finish it.
Yeah, I want to thank you for this. For example, my birthday is 5 June 1988. That is my birthday. And every 5 June, every year, I sit with myself and I reflect in the previous year goals. For example, for last year, I put 5 goals, and I have in 1 year, I have to reach this goals, whatever it is. I'm going to fight for this. That is my time. But it's okay if one goal of them exceeded 1 year. It's okay. No problem with this. But the most important thing that you can reach, that's the main thing, when you reach this goal. But mostly, thank God, until now, I never escape any goal. So every year I have 4 or 5 goals. I have to reach it. So in that days, I sit with myself. The first thing, I'm gonna check the 5 goals that I set for this year. Had been reached? Okay. Tick, all reached. Okay, that's the first thing. I'm gonna acknowledge myself. The second thing, I'm gonna celebrate. Man, celebrate this. You achieved 5 goals, man, and it's a hard goals. It's up and down. Small goals and big goals. Okay, I'm gonna celebrate this with myself, and then I have break. I need to have break, man. At least I have some time to break in order, to enjoy my life because I'm gonna celebrate this. Okay, and then I'm gonna reward myself. I'm gonna reward myself. But you did this 5 goals. You help yourself. You help others. I'm gonna reward you by anything. Travel outside, buy a book, ice cream, whatever. That we're gonna just rewarding myself. I learned this technique from Jay, to be honest, but I'm just modified a little bit. But you know what? And then I sit with myself and then put in the new goals for the next year, whatever it is. 3, 4, 5 goals, which is that I'm gonna stop. Okay. But as you can see, acknowledgement, celebrating, rewarding, and taking a break. Before starting the new year with yourself with a new goal. And these goals are all linked by your own mental, emotional, physical health, and also helping and saving others around you, which is linked with your own passion, linked with your own mission in your life. It's all are connected with you as a human being. And the beautiful thing is that you want to put this goal, you are free to put this goal. You are free. Whatever it is, one of this goal this year, I want to, like you, that's why, I want to stop eating add sugar. It's so hard for me, man. I love eating chocolate and eat ice cream. I love sweets, okay? I was like crazy at the first 3 months from stopping adding sugar. Even in the marketplace, somebody gave me a cake in the birthday. No, man, stop eating sugar. But I tell myself, while you are touching yourself, why are you doing this? I tell myself, okay, eat sugar, but healthy sugar. Healthy sugar in fruits, healthy sugar, but with fiber, not juicy also one. And then found out, no, even if eating too much sugar, it would affect your health. Come on, man. So I need to eat sugar, but to have balance with eating sugar, even in the healthy sugar in fruits, for example. And then I found out, no, it's a good habit, but you're gonna also reward yourself. To myself, okay, 6 days, healthy sugar, and 1 day, that is your day off, which is your Sunday, reward yourself. Eat whatever you want. Eat junk food, eat from outside, add sugar, eat ice cream, eat cake, whatever it is. When I was rewarding myself for what I'm reaching, for example, every week, I feel good about myself. I'm rewarding myself for reaching this. Rewarding myself is so important after reaching your goal.
Yeah.
That is the thing which give you the energy and motivation to move forward. That I'm doing something good for my life.
Yeah.
Yes, that is some technique that I'm using with myself, especially when I put my own goals yearly.
That's amazing. Yeah, for me, like sugar, it was an on and off, but then eventually I just said I'm not gonna have any sweets. And it's funny because people ask me, how can you not eat cake? But I don't crave it anymore at all. Like there's no craving, and I eat fruits. There's sugar in, well, I don't know how much processed or unprocessed in breads and stuff that I eat. But I also eat honey, for example, or like dates every now and then. But any processed or refined sugar, I try to avoid as much as possible. And it's just that habit. Like I'm hearing that, yeah, the reason why you're creating a goal is to become healthier. And if you're actually feeling miserable, then why are you actually following through with that goal?
Mhm.
So it's that balance that you find that works for you. And I liked what you said as well about like these annual goals, or like the birthday goals. You've taken them from Jay, but like you've adapted them to serve you, because we're all different. Some things might work for you, some things might not work for me. So, and that's the beauty of life. Otherwise, we'd be all one and the same in doing everything. So as we're wrapping up, I wanted to, I mean, I can ask you so many more questions to understand like the thought process of how you've transformed your life, but what's something that we haven't touched on that you'd like to share with us?
God create this life as a journey, and but from this journey, which is the life it challenges in your life. And I believe that God created this life for us, not against us. And life it challenges is about from life. So also life it challenges is for us, not against us.
Yeah.
It's about from life. 1 + 1 equal 2, right? So why that you see life challenges in a negative perspective? Whatever they go through in your life, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, it's about from life challenges in your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you sit with yourself and be honest with yourself and start to see the lesson, start to see what is one good or positive side from these life challenges, for example, like depression, you can use this thing and use it for your own good and continue in your life and move forward.
Yeah.
and gonna become mentally, emotionally, spiritually tough or strong in your life and continue. Imagine if every situation that went through in your life and start to create this kind of mindset, that mindset of seeing the bright side from things, your life will be completely different, Hassan.
Absolutely.
And that is my vision, man. If even inside you, you have a gift inside you. If you see the gift inside you and the good thing inside you as a human being and use it to help and serve yourself first and start to help it and serve people around you, your life will be completely different. Imagine the first majority of people have this kind of mindset, your life will be completely different. You are the one who can choose to see the bright side or the dark side or whatever the negative side from anything that you're going to do in your life. Everything will be different. Yes.
Yeah. Completely agree with that. It's the way that we see things and frame anything that comes as challenges and there's opportunities as we see them. Thanks for the reminder and for sharing with us. It's so important to keep amplifying the volume about this topic and how it's important to see the good things, because there are good things. And sometimes the bad are just a little bit louder. So it's important to increase the volume for the. As a tradition on the podcast, we usually ask our guests to share a motto or like words of wisdom that they continue to repeat to themselves whenever they face challenges or obstacles. What's one quote or any saying that you always rely on that you can share with us?
Have hope and faith in God and continue in your life.
I love that. Straight and to the point.
Yes, man. If you have, give me 1 minute to share behind the story. I was so worried one day. I'm so afraid from something in my life. I took a decision. And I was praying, and it was the last day in Ramadan, last Ramadan, and fasting. And then the inner voice inside me is, while you are afraid and worried, and God was you in your life. Wallah, Hassan, it was very, very deepening. That wasn't my voice. So yes, so it's only a reminder. If you're a believer, really a believer, how do you? It's okay to feel afraid and worry. It's about from life, but only remind yourself that God is there. Just have faith and hope in God. Everything will be different. In the unknown, because we are all in the unknown, but you have that mentality. I have hope and faith in the unknown. Continue your journey, face your own dragon, face your own fears, and job, man. Everything will be different.
Thanks, Wael. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for coming on the podcast and telling us about your story and being yourself and opening up and giving us a lot of these nuggets of wisdom that I've really taken a lot so much from just seeing challenges as opportunities, from creating the goals, from taking the small steps, from loving ourselves, from even like feeling if something is bad for us, seeing the positive intention behind it so that we can live the life that we believe. It's been really a joy having you, and I'd like to thank you once more. Very grateful that that we got to do this, and I'm sure that a lot of people listening will take a lot of value from our conversation.
I want to thank you, Hassan. Wallah, it is one of the best podcasts that I have in my life for the last 2 years. I love your
Very
question.
kind.
It's very, very insightful conversation with you, to be honest. I want to thank you.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Wael. And thank you to everyone who's been joining us and listening to these conversations. As always, remember that today is the most important day of your life. Until next time. Thank you for watching and listening to Present Potential. If you found value in this episode, please give it a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more. Join the conversation in the comments and let us know your biggest takeaway. If you'd like to listen to other inspiring stories, check out our other episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Make sure to also follow us on Instagram under Present Potential Podcast, where you get to see behind the scenes and engage with us.